Hey, it's Bonnie with Board Games. I got Judd on set. Now here's the deal. This is going to be HAMTAG Lite. What does Lite mean? I mean,
not me.
That's right. L-I-T-E. Basically, no Greg here. Greg's not here. Now you had a math joke on this.
Okay, the T in HAMTAG Lite is we're 133% better than Tom's gang. So we're a third better. So that's the T. Because
for those that don't know, from way back in the day, HAMTAG, Greg came up with it's half as much, twice as good.
Yes.
And then that is the acronym is HAMTAG.
Yeah, we're still half because we're doing 5.
Right.
But we're a third better.
So some people go, what in the
third
world
better is good.
HAMTAG?
It doesn't quite work, but
betterer. I like a third betterer.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're doing today are our top 5, and this will be open to interpretation, most expensive war game collection series, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's what we're going to do. Top 5. I'll have to figure out exactly the title. Basically, top 5 most expensive war games collection.
This was interesting because how do you value war games?
Good point.
Because I get some for Christmas, 0. Mm-hmm. You know, I trade. Pay it forwards, things like that. Another one I told Bart was interesting was I have a lot of Starfleet battle stuff from the early 80s that you would buy expansions of stuff for $5 that would now go for $25. How do you do it? Time value of money, try to calculate inflation. I have to call my buddy Rob, he's an econ professor, to get some help. So I'll explain as we go what I did.
Yep, and so will I, and maybe there's unique collections along the way.
Yes.
Do you want to kick us off with number 5? We're always going in reverse order.
By the way, I'm technology now.
Yeah, you were ahead of me. I've got old paper here. I've got a physical piece of paper.
Okay, my number 5 is the Band of Brothers series by Worthington. You started with Worthington Games, now it's Worthington Publishing. They're a different company. Same guy's running it though. I have in this Screaming Eagles, and I'll give you a thing if you want to put the pictures up. Screaming Eagles, Ghost Panzer, Texas Arrows, and Battle Pack 1, which is everything they've made for it at this point that we're filming February 2nd. The value I have on it, that was a little easy because I bought all that stuff right off the Kickstarter, so I was able to punch it in. It's 165 bucks. It started in 2011, and the last one was in 2017, was the last Battle Pack 1. I guess I've talked plenty about it if you go back into old videos. I love it, my favorite tactical series.
Got it. Cool. So my number 5 is going to be the Avalon Hill Area Impulse series. And you're like, what? That's not really a series, but it kind of is, too. You can even find it on BGG as that. So in 1984, this came out, Storm Over Arnhem came out in 1982, but I bought it in 1984. It's the first 2-player game I bought because before that it was B-17, Queen of the Skies, and Ambush. But I love the whole Operation Market Garden. The movie was out, Bridge Too Far.
76, but yeah, it hit the TV in 78, 79. Yeah.
So, and I loved it. And I bought this knowing it was a 2-player game. I was funny looking at this. I pulled out the rules. I've got a big red. It doesn't even look like a highlighter. It looks like it was a red marker that I was like highlighting stuff. I'm like, what did I do? So I bought this. I played it solo. I tried to teach a buddy. He was like, yeah, this is hard. But I love the system, but I didn't return to it. And then when I started to get back, so I got back into Euro games in like 2006, 7. Even earlier than that. No, I guess, yes.
Sorry. Your microphone.
2000, it wouldn't. Oh. This microphone's unbelievable.
Sweet.
Yeah, I whispered to Bruno.
Old HAMTAG videos.
I whispered to Bruno on a Scotch deal, or he whispered to me, and you could hear the whisper. It was how good it was.
Sweet.
Yeah. If your tummy rumbles, sorry, I don't say tummy. If your gut makes a noise,
good, glad I ate.
You'll hear it. So I'll go quicker here. Thunder and Casino. All right, I do have to watch glare because we can't see that. The Turning Point Stalingrad. I love Stalingrad. And the, it's the Breakout Normandy. This is the original.
You finally got it.
Yes, I got it.
We just shot a video and you were jealous that I had that one.
Yes, and I went and searched. That was the last one to search it out and round it out. So my point to this is these have become not so much Arnhem or Stalingrad. Normandy and Casino have gotten really expensive. So as a collection, it's fairly expensive to go get now, although they have reprinted Breakout Normandy.
Yes, L3 or somebody. I don't have that one.
But part of this was also the nostalgia. I wouldn't get rid of these because even if they all ended up being $20, it harkens back to a 14-year-old.
Might make you jealous. I bought that for 20 and I bought that for like 16.
You're good.
And they weren't even that long ago.
That's good. You got a heck of a deal on that.
He's got to be patient.
Yes, patient, and I'm not. So there we go. There's my number 5 expensive collection. So I paid not 20 for a couple of these. All right, let's go to your number 4.
My number 4. I only took the box cover. First, I was going to bring the entire...
Smart. I was wondering, you had this box. I'm like, wow, Judd is strong.
Yeah. The reason why I have... Okay, Tide of Iron is my number 4. I am an organizational freak. Seriously, it's almost unhealthy. And I don't think there's any almost to it. Anyway, in my Tide of Iron box, I have the base game. I have the Days of the Fox expansion in it, and I have the D-Day expansion, all packed into one box.
You don't have the Russian Bear?
I do. Ooh. Actually, as far as the system, I have everything for it, I think. No, they made some map expansions. Yes. I don't have. I have the Designer Series book, the Stalingrad, Fury of the Bear, Normandy, and Days of the Fox expansions. So, yeah, they made like some type of map expansion. That's all I didn't have that I'm aware of. But, yeah, I managed to cram 3 into 1, and it's heavier than his Ogre game.
Yeah.
And, yeah, as soon as I saw it on the list and I was grabbing the games last night, I just kind of rolled my eyes. My wife's like, what? And I pointed to it, and she laughed because she's actually picked it up once. Yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, it's a memory. Yeah.
Drew out her L4. Oh,
so, yeah, I thought, yeah, I'm just going to take the box lid this time.
Genius. Yeah, when you came in, I saw that sitting on top of your box. I thought,
yeah, he's been working out.
He's strong.
Yeah.
This was on my short list. I looked at it. I just hadn't played it in so long, but I too have those, and I believe I have the map.
Now, you might be thinking, holy cow, if that's his number 4, what's his... Okay, here's the trick. If you're patient, my patience is infinite, because I have to quote Babylon 5. Okay, I got this for Christmas. I valued it the full value. But when it came to the Normandy one, my friend Aaron was at Geekway of the East, and he called me up and said they had the Normandy one for $5 on a ding and dent sale. Had a hole in the box. No problem. I put it in here.
Yes.
Box. You know, I didn't chuck the box, but I never used the box.
You didn't recycle it?
No. I keep the boxes. I don't know why. But hey, in case I ever traded or whatever. Want a hole in the box?
Yeah, this one's got a hole.
Yeah. No, they. When it came to Stalingrad and Fury of the Bear, I kept trying to trade. Stalingrad hadn't interested me as much. I really wish I'd went to the Pacific instead. And but when originally Fantasy Flight made this, then it like switched to another company or something.
Yep, and I'm forgetting the name of it.
Yeah. Anyway, something happened. Fantasy Flight was like, now we're just taking this back and ending it or something. I knew they were going to kill the series, and they had put all their stuff on their for like half price on a clearance sale. So I jumped on those last few expansions. So I got them for like $20 to $25.
Perfect.
So I actually end up getting this stuff a lot cheaper. The only one that I have full price was this and the Days of the Fox, and I guess the book, which was like $20. So the value I had on it's $200 for the whole series.
Wow, you valued out. Mine are not valued out for final value.
I'm a dork that
You're
way.
awesome that way. Awesome.
Anyways, that's my number 4, Tide of Iron.
Perfect.
Love the plastic in it, by the way.
Strong man, yes. It is.
See, Band of Brothers is when I want to get into a serious study of doctrine. This is one I just want to pull out my dudes on the map and be awesome.
My tank is coming for you.
And it looks so cool set up.
Let me go grab mine. Ready?
Yep.
All right, number 4. Now, it's only 3 of these, and I missed the... Jackson's, what was it? Jackson's Way 2, I think, or something. Stonewall Jackson 2. I think it was called Jackson's Way. I can't remember. So MMP started putting these out. So Battle Above the Clouds, Atlanta Is Ours, and Roads to Gettysburg 2, Lee Strikes North. actually, HAMTAG is the reason why I even got interested in these.
These are great campaigns of the American Civil War.
Yes, the great campaigns of the American Civil War, exactly. And the MMP started putting them out again. They're expensive. And if you miss a release, they sell out pretty darn quick, and then they're crazy expensive.
Well, they take forever to put things back in the queue.
Yes,
their
they
P500s move at a glacial pace.
So
yeah, probably there's some wisdom in that strike while the iron's hot, people jump on them.
Yes. I mean, so again, back to my youth. I was always more of a World War II player, but the box cover art of the old Avalon Hill games, gorgeous. I remember looking at them and wondering and going, I'm going to stay World War II. And then, of course, they're like unicorns in the wild. You can't find them. Mm-hmm. So they start to slowly put these out. I was getting slowly into Gettysburg. And I thought, if I don't get these now when they're available for MMP, I'll probably never get these. So I picked them up. And part of... I don't know, it's that fear of missing out at the same time. So they're expensive. I'm not going to separate from them. I haven't even learned the system yet. So when I buy these, I feel guilty inside. Because I'm like, I'm buying all these and I don't know how to play them. You guys have talked about them.
I've never played that. I played the very first one that started.
This,
yeah,
right?
Greg. There was a game called Lee versus Grant, but it's not officially part of the series. It just kind of, I think it influenced the rest of the series. They took part, ran with the core system or something.
And it's the movement and the way that you're moving through the campaign of whatever. So it's not a set piece, here's Gettysburg. It's a map covering that whole, Gettysburg's this little area over here. May be a factor, may not.
Are you going to BGG Con this year?
No.
Oh, yeah. So there's a guy down there, Patrick, blanking his last name. He's very much a fan of these. And
yes.
I think he teaches it. He's wanted to teach me. I just haven't been to BGG Con since 16.
Right. I would love to be taught. So here's the sad part. I'll continue to add to this collection. And I need to be taught. We'll cycle that over. You are up, number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is Command and Colors Napoleonics. Mm-hmm. I have most of the stuff. There's 4 army expansions. Russia, Prussians, Austrians, and I think it's over in Spain, Spanish. And then they had a generals and commanders or something. I can't see the picture real well.
Technology.
Yeah. I could click it away, but then I got to back up. Okay. No, it's like a tactical set of cards, combat cards for the system. I did not get the epics. I just wasn't that interested in it. I had a chance to at the last sale, but just wasn't. I usually like the big scenarios, but it just wasn't clicking with me. Now, the funny thing about this is I generally don't do fear of missing out because I have learned if you're just patient, it will all come back.
Sometimes.
Yeah, except for Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, that's true.
Queen's Gambit has burned me badly, but
could have got that for a steal.
I turned it down when I could have got it for $100 and said, I'd go 50 or something, and now it's like 300. But every other case, I've generally learned if you're patient, it will come back for the stuff I've been interested in.
Well, we've all got other games we can play.
Exactly. And that one was, what it really was is my wife would get me something on GMT, and then at the sale, where you can get them for half price,
right.
She'd ask me anything you're looking for. Well, I've used Borg's Gaines Battle Cry. That got me into the Civil War. Ancients got me into the Ancient War. I mean, I had zero interest in that stuff until I played his games.
Right.
So I thought, well, I know nothing about Napoleonic other than he's a short, dead dude, and he likes to do the water slide and
maybe
San
not that
Dimas.
Short. Yes.
Yeah, he's not that short either, but, and I'm not going to say what Ted's little brother said about him.
Sure.
You might get demonetized.
That's right, you could.
Anyways, so I thought, hey, this will be a great way to learn about the battles. So I've jumped on them, but I have not played any of the expansions. It's one of those, I'm gonna, you know, I've been working through Ancients. So many games, so little time. I have played a few from the base game, and I played one. I tried out the tactics cards, but I haven't got through the armies yet.
I like how they've worked on the tactics cards. You know, yeah.
So yeah, with I got that tactics card one at the GM. I actually had some GMT sale stuff, but it was always my wife who would get those for me because she was the one who was always on their favorite list.
That's cool.
So anyways, so I ended up with all that. The value I have on it, because she was getting all the stuff for half price on their sales, was $230 for those.
Nice.
So that's my number 3.
Boom. All right, coming in. So let me boom and Combat Commander. Now, I'm going to explain these in a second. I was a late adopter to the system. Of course, Chad Jensen has passed. What was really awesome from GMT, Chad Jensen's a designer, is they came out, even when he had cancer, they said, we're going to get all these available. And they did, and they've come in. I haven't even taken the shrink off, but so I've got everything now. But I wanted to talk about it as a series because it's that, I call it the fog of command, because the cards and weird things and wonky things happen. And the first time I played it, I didn't like that unsure kind of thing. And then as I came to understand it and play it, I was like, wow. And then I wanted everything in it. So I got Combat Commander as a review copy. And then I was like, well, I've got to have other things. And I started buying. All they had at the time for their little packs was the Combat Commander 1940 Sea Lion, which is the mythical operation of Germany invading England. And they had the Battle Pack Leader of Men, which was a tournament battle pack. All these are now back in stock. There's Stalingrad, there's 1940 France.
Resistance or something?
Yeah, like maybe I don't have, I might not have Resistance, actually.
So I should get in the comment section.
Yes,
people on this game are very fanatical about it, so they'll know everything.
Yeah, there's Resistance, you're right. That's probably the one I don't have. The Pacific was out of print. It's back in. It's just shown up. I haven't even taken a look at it. What was so nice is that I mean, I'm sure there's maybe some other scenarios or things that folks wanted, but I think it really covers so much of World War II. And GMT has come out and said that they're going to make sure that it stays in print and available. Kai Jensen, Chad's wife, is of course, you know, still going through the loss of Chad and everything, but it was, I'm just thrilled I came to this when I did. So great system, love it, and I love that it's all back in print. That's cool. So all right,
alrighty, my number 2 is Command and Colors Ancients. As far as I know, I have everything for this. Well, technically not. Okay, let me explain. I have this. I have expansion 1, the Eastern Kingdoms. I have the combined expansion 2 and 3. So technically, I don't have 2 and 3, but I have 2 and 3 together. And the 4th was, I think, Imperial Rome. The 5th was the Epic expansion. The 6th was Sparta. And in addition to that, Greg picked me up a mounted map at the big one out west, Pennsylvania.
Oh, the Geekway of the West?
No, the one in Pennsylvania.
Oh, sorry.
WBC.
Yeah, WBC.
Yeah.
Used to be in Lancaster. Now it's up in a resort lodge.
Yeah, I think they had them for like $10 or something. He picked me up one up there because I already had one of the mounted maps, and it's hard to play epics with mounted and non-mounted, so he hooked me up with that. So
sweet.
So yeah, I had the total value. Now here's the trick to this one. Got this in a trade. So the way I did it was, if I would have bought it at the time, what would it have cost? The first and let's see, 2 and 3 I got on P500, so I was like, so I got them for a fraction. The Epic one, that thing used to be expensive, and I got lucky at the time. I landed for like $50 on eBay or something, but it was going for like 90 around that time. But I put it at 50, and then my wife got me the 6th one on P500.
Now, just so I got it, you're putting it at the price it cost you, not its current value.
Yeah, because that all the time this video comes out, they could all change. You know, stuff goes out of print, they come back in print, they drop. Anyway, so I had the total value of it $350. And unlike the Napoleonics, I have played at least one scenario from every one of them. I've played all of these twice.
That's awesome.
Rob and I we've been playing this on Vassal, my econ professor buddy.
Uh-huh.
We are so hardcore on this. We've played fan-made expansions.
Is there one that you really liked? Was there like a favorite fan-made expansion?
Shoot.
If not,
the answer is yes. It's just like which one. There's so many good ones. There's very few bad ones we ever play. If you ever get curious, if you look in my played list, you can see when they played twice, especially if it says that Rob is my opponent, that you can see that, yeah, we really liked it. And there's a couple of them that just only once was like, yeah, that was kind of a dud. That
so
was
when you play it twice, do you switch sides?
Yeah, we switch.
Perfect.
We never really add them up and say who won. But
right.
What was funny was he clobbered me the first two, and I'm forgetting the name of it. It's like a wide open battle. Oh, Xanthippus is one. And it's supposed to be one that Carthaginians win. But when you go from Memoir to this, it's a jump. You know, the battle back, the support, all that. And he clobbered me pretty good, as you should. You know, when any good game and experienced player should beat a rookie. And then we played on Vassal. I used this to lure him into Vassal. Yes, man, you can get out. You were mine. Well, anyways, we did this. I think he won the third. Then I went like an 8-game winning streak, and I had this uncanny ability to pull the first strike card. And we were joking because he didn't know that. He knows now knows because he's played around with Vassal that it's not code. And I kept kidding that there was code that if user equals Judd Vance, then be sure to start with first strike card. Which is kind of funny. You can scare people into thinking that the myth is true. But yeah, one time he had sent me the log, and we had interrupts in there, and he thought he had won it, and then he gets back the file with a little I, which means interrupt file, and he was getting ready to hit me, and I slammed him and snatched defeat, and he was Wow. But yeah, we still play this. We're working through the expansion 2s and 3 now. And as long as we live long lives, we will be playing through every scenario from every expansion. Yeah, when I did Bardius Con, the 30 days, 30 games, I played
after me.
Yes, no. Bardius is his user ID. It has Roman sound to it for his last name. So. But yeah, I played scenarios from every one of them. I played in the Sparta one. I played the 300. Thermopylae, thank you. Boy, you can tell it's already more in the coffee. It's not kicking in. Yeah, Thermopylae, as I used to call it once upon a time. Yeah, I played it, and it's really cool. You think, I want to be that's actually really cool in this one. Huh. And so, yeah, I've played at least one scenario in each. My friend Tom and I are working through the successor scenarios. That's pretty cool, where they tie in one after another. And this, yeah. So, yeah, lots of cool options. So this is one I've really been into.
I need to play this.
And this is like number 3 on my top 100 every year when I make it every year. So yeah, it's because Rob and I constantly play this thing and never get bored with it.
Love it.
Okay.
Boy, that is awesome.
So that was my number 2.
Yes. All right, we're back in. So, Conflict of Heroes. I've got the original Awakening the Bear box here somewhere as well. But this is the 3rd edition Storms of Steel. This is the 1st edition Storms of Steel. Yeah, that's right. So I was buying these as they were coming out new way back in the day. This one was a review copy that Uwe sent. But I was a lover of this system since my first BGG con. And what it did for me, so let me show you. So the original box, same artwork, but everything's in this new shape. New systems are coming out. Faster ways to handle dice. This is in Poland, so Price of Honor. You actually have the Russians and the Germans and the Poles in the middle. Guadalcanal, thank you when it finally came out. Brings in Marines and the Japanese and a bunch of different battles in Guadalcanal. And the original Awakening the Bear. I have the other box somewhere. And inside, I have both the solo expansion, and then there's a, I put it in here as well, and I can't remember. I think it makes campaigns or something. But the solo expansion, Gunther, his son, came up with that, and it's awesome.
Is that a solo for the whole series? Or just
no, it's based on the Eastern Front, and it was really based on Awakening the Bear. I have not used it with Storms of Steel, which is more tank heavy. There was something on that. I think it works well with that as well, but I haven't done that at all. It's a nice little if this, do this system. So here's what Conflict of Heroes did for me, and I won't go too long because folks that have watched HAMTAG have seen this, but those that haven't, I was a huge war game player, primarily solitaire, since 1983. All through high school, and then I slowly faded out as I was working full-time, doing some school and doing the military and the Army, but I saved my games. Around comes 2006, I'm married, no kids yet, and my wife and I, Elizabeth, start getting into playing all these Euro games that are coming in. And sure enough, I see Awakening the Bear come out, and I'm like, holy moly, what kind of, this is like a beautiful production Euro game with all those production abilities in a war game that's tactical, and I love tactical. And I love the fact that it focused on the Eastern Front right off, you know, not worrying about Normandy or the Bulge or whatever. And I was right back into wargaming. So, Conflict of Heroes.
I have a question.
Shoot it.
Is that artwork done by the same guy who did the 1775?
Steve Pashal. Yes, it is.
So good.
Steve is
man, those
awesome.
boxes are cool.
Steve used to be a DJ. He lives in Hawaii. He is phenomenal. His artwork is phenomenal. It always has a sense of movement, which you can see real good here with Guadalcanal. He's done multiple oil paintings. This one was selected. Yeah, his artwork is great. I think one of the problems Academy Games got into, or UVA got into, is they've commissioned extra oil paintings from Steve. And so you'll see, I can't even remember the names, but there's the Airborne with the troops coming in for D-Day. There's France 1940. He's done a whole bunch of artwork that you'll see, but I think UVA is buying the artwork now and getting all that ready for God knows when. Maybe never. His office has these original oil paintings, which are just gorgeous, and then he used to do this. I don't know. That's a good question. I had Steve on. I had Steve on for a live back when I was doing the Google Plus. His wife is Japanese Hawaiian, and her father, so his father-in-law, was in the 442nd, and isn't that it? The 442.
I don't know.
They were the guys that the Japanese American unit that goes to Europe, saves the Texans. I want to say, God forbid if I got it wrong. I think it's 442nd.
Okay.
They were the most awarded unit throughout the entire military. I mean, medals of honor and everything. And he was hoping
Mr. Miyagi won one.
Yeah, that would be correct. You're 100%. Mr. Miyagi was exactly it. So, Conflict of Heroes, love it. I just want more, and they come out slowly, but production value is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever want to know what a box cover can do for the interest in a game,
yeah,
go look at the old Anzio, Avalon Hill. Look at their 1969 version, and then it's like the 4th edition when Roger McGowan had the soldier on the cover. That's what got me in. I saw that game and was like, oh, this looks cool. I got to have this.
Right.
Just the cover. But if you look at the old one, it just showed like a landing craft. Another showed like a picture of a guy with a hat on it looks, and it's just like,
I mean, just the action. And the 1941 has me because it's got like an old, I can't remember now. I think it's a French tank that's burning and the German soldiers rushing on it. But yeah, his artwork is phenomenal. He's a great guy.
Yeah, if we ever did top 5 art covers, I think you've just got your list.
Yeah, he just, people go, Conflict of Heroes. I'd have to do it as a group. So, boom. My number 2, love it.
Okay.
Let's do your 1. We'll leave these here. I'll clear them out in a second.
Okay. My number 1 is Richard Borg Me, Memoir 44, which I owe to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you taught it to me.
True.
He told me you have to set it up.
Yeah.
It was at game night, and I said, would you teach that to me? He said, yeah, but you have to set it up. I don't mind setting the game up. Plus, I keep all my stuff in Plano boxes because I'm an organizational freak. And anyways, this game here, let's see.
That's just the box top.
Yeah, I just emptied the,
I thought you were so strong.
No, see, all my Memoir stuff is in this giant, I have 2 Plano boxes, one for terrain, one for units.
Genius.
So as you're taking casualties, you're picking the game up. One box has like maps in it, one box has like instructions and little Plano with like medals and special units. So I just like, I'll just empty it. Okay, this system here, I have 2 copies of the base game, traded for one, got one for Christmas, so I can play those. Yeah, originally when I played the big Overlord scenarios, 2 mappers, I just have the Americans and the British versus the Japanese and the Germans, because I didn't have double up in the units, and hey, it's an infantry guy, it's an arm, so you can do that. But hey, I started geeking harder, had a great trade, jumped on it, so now I have double of that.
That would be confusing to me.
Yeah, and I don't have everything for this. I have the 3 fronts: Eastern Front, Pacific Theater, and Mediterranean. The Overlord expansion, the deck of cards, basically, you can use 2 maps. The terrain expansion, which is kind of a waste. Not the new one with all the plastic weird stuff, the old one.
You know what I did? There was a guy on like eBay or Etsy that was cutting out these wooden blocks that fit, and they're like physically, so you have the levels of terrain, and it just makes the map look cool.
Well, the thing that annoyed me on the terrain pack was when I was all done, it still didn't exactly have like every town piece that was like brown, so I had to use this gray, and just the annoying factor. You're making this, and you're still not giving me exactly every piece you're showing in your picture. Come on. Okay, then the Winter War one, which is Battle of the Bulge, and introduced a deck of cards for the what they call that, the breakthrough, where they had these deep maps, super deep, and whole different system where like I activate 3 guys to attack and 2 guys anywhere else. I don't know if you ever played that.
I haven't.
And then they had like the tactical cards, which are kind of, I don't like the way they do it in this or Napoleonic, because you only get them when you draw a scout card. So Rob and I tried it on a few, and we thought really it's the guy who pulls the most scout cards wins the game. So it was kind of a Okay, then I got the Holy Grail, and I got to give a shout out to my wife. Yeah. She wanted to get me something on Valentine's Day. This is Campaign Book Volume 1. I have 1 and 2. This, I don't know, is $100 to $200. She's wanting to get me something at the game store on Valentine's Day right before, and we go, and I was like, you really want something? I said, Med Pack that they had for like $20. And she goes, is there anything else you want in here? And I was like, someday I'm going to get that. And she grabs, I go, no, don't, that's too much. And she says, no, I was like,
this before it went out of print?
Yeah, like a couple months later, it went out of print. Scott went through the roof. My friend Aaron has been trying to get one of these forever.
Right.
So I tell my wife frequently how awesome she is, but this is one of the many reasons why, because she insisted that she get this. So yeah, I got the Holy Grail. I have the original Air Pack and the...
you want me to hold this for you?
Yeah, no. And the new one that came out last year, the flight plan or whatever, new flight plan. By the way,
it's supposed to be way better.
Way better. The other one was too abstract.
It was.
And it was just kind of, it didn't, yeah. And I remember you said you weren't a fan of it. The new one is awesome. It's like, oh, this makes perfect sense. The only bummer is that they didn't have painted minis in it, and I'm not a painter. But otherwise, yeah, they got these big stands and different, everybody has like a fighter, a tactical bomber, and a strategic bomber type of, or you can do carpet bombing.
It still looked fiddly to me.
No, it's actually really smooth.
Okay.
It's very...
before it goes out of print.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed when I played it. It totally changed how you want to play this. And then I got the winter map, which is really pathetic because it's just the same map that's white. Yeah. Then a desert map that's not green. Sad. Okay, and then the breakthrough map, which is actually a really cool, different way of playing it. I never got the... what they call it, Tigers in the Mist. They sell these single things in envelopes. Yeah. And they said, oh, this is so great. You get a paper map and you don't have to put your tiles on it. And I'm like, it's really not a problem for me to put the tiles on, and I prefer the amount of map. I kind of liked it, though. Yeah, they trade for way too hard. They're very expensive to get.
I have the Tigers, I think, and then they have a Russian one.
They had a Stalingrad one.
That must be it.
And then they made a few others, and they like introduced half-track pieces in them. And then they made a plastic piece expansion. I just saw that as a waste of money. It's like money grab. They've kind of squeezed out every bit they could until
Isn't it all a money grab? Though?
Yeah, Vorg amazes me how much money he gets out of these things.
Well, when you do it right, I mean, I still can't believe how much I pay for this.
Yeah.
This iPhone. I'm like, woo-hoo.
But, yeah, so they've put out plenty of money grabs, and there was they put out a D-Day one, but that requires you to have like 4 copies of the base game. Like, no, thank you. The one I asked him about was, I thought this would be cool. Memoir 50 expansion, because the weapon's basically the same in the Korean War. The infantry aren't, they were still using the Russian tanks from World War II. And I said, have have one for the communists, the Chinese/North Korean, so you don't have to have 2 entire sets because you're trying to make it in one of those little boxes. And I had ideas like put five units in a Chinese, because they had the hordes of bodies, but they roll 1 less dice because they had inferior. And I said put a little a MiG in there and one of our jets in there in case you want to play with the air rules. And I mentioned that to him, and every time I mentioned him, he's always like, yeah, I can't talk about that. Because last time I mentioned I mentioned American Revolution, he actually did it. Yeah. Now, if he ends up coming out with a Korean War, I'm going to take a hard pass on that. I don't buy everything in that system. But if he makes an expansion, I'll be all over it. But I don't want to pay the whole kit and caboodle.
You know they would do it as a kit and caboodle.
Oh, yeah. But I'm like, hey, more power to him. Make money off of it, go for it. I'm just not for it. But if he ever makes it in Memoir 50, yeah, I'm all over that one. But otherwise, my view, the only thing they needed to do was fix the air rules. I think they've taken that system as far as they can. Now, it was interesting to do because, like I said, I traded for one. I've traded and stuff like this. I valued it at what I got it at, $30. So, despite all that, the value of my #1 system is $450. So,
nice. All right, let me grab mine. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, my #1, you've kind of seen it already. Boom! So let's go through quickly. I just grabbed Memoir 44, the Eastern Front pack. I've got it all over there except that campaign #1 that you're going to give me. I've got Battle Lore and a bunch of stuff for it. This is Battle Lore 1, not the redone thing. This is the epic map for Battle Lore, but I've got a bunch from the first version. The Great War, which actually I love a lot. World War I. This comes out from PSC, the Plastic Soldier Company. So you've got World War I in play. I'm going to move this over here. Ancients. All right, I've got the base. This is the only expansion I think I have right here, which is, I've got to even remember. What is this? This is #1, expansion 1. And God, I could see where I could get into this as deep as you do, but I haven't yet. So I was like, I don't need to buy more. And then the recent medieval.
Don't you have Napoleonics?
No.
Oh,
so
I thought you did.
No Napoleonics. That one's never really sparked my interest. I also don't have
Tricorn.
The Space or Tricorn.
Or the Sumo, not the Sumo.
Samurai's coming out.
No, they have one.
Maybe it's a weird reprint then?
It's an old game. It's not through the typical guys, and it has like, I think Borg had a system, and then there was another guy that had a different type. I never got into it.
GMT is putting out a Samurai version this year, and I do have the Battle Cry, what is it, the 150th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still in shrink. And I've never pulled it out. I know. I've never pulled it out.
Dude, I played every scenario twice. I rolled up to church on those nights when I was by myself and watching the kids in choir practice. I was sitting there playing all that.
I found it early. I don't even think anybody, I think I even got it on some discount or something. And I thought, you know what? I love the system with Memoir and Battle Lore. Let me go ahead and get it. And then I just got lost in every other thing game. So I have that there. But yeah, I would love to have the Space one, even though I heard it's a little wonky.
I'll send you if you want to put the picture up, I'll get you. If you go under Borg's on his BGG and look at his games, yeah, it's weird. It's like a white box, and it's him and another guy, and you can use either one of their systems in this, but I never played it.
Well, GMT has one that's supposed to come out this year, Samurai Battles, I think that's what it's called or something. And I'm definitely intrigued by it. So this, you've had it out. It's clearly, it's made both of our lists multiple times. You said, what's your total if you put all yours together?
Now that you mentioned I forgot about Battle Cry. I have Battle Cry, the 3 I showed, and then I had the Battle Cry, and then I had the Tricorn and the Tricorn expansion by Compass with American Revolution. I traded my Battle Lore, so I'm not counting it. Okay. And amongst that, it's almost $1,400.
See, that's what I'm saying. And so when I do these lists, I just pull out a piece of paper and right off the top of my head, I'll throw down what are my thoughts without even looking. Now I did go online and check some stuff and I wanted to see, and I was, but not so much with this. I could have had, just like you, these would have been, they were so much in my list, I thought I'm going to collapse these all in, and I called it the Borg.
Resistance is futile.
I called it, you can see, it's the Borg, ellipsis, Richard.
You know, I always said I was kind of, I'm happy with what I got, but if he made one on the War of Austrian Secession, I would be on that in a minute. So I mean, if he does, it's so far. Well,
you know, medieval literally picks up from where ancients drops off.
Okay,
and they're going to do. This is the early, and then the middle, medieval, and then late. So I think there's going to be 3 expansions for the.
Oh, he'll milk it for all it's worth. He knows.
It's 1,000
he knows
years,
how to do that.
Isn't it 1,000 years of time as well? I mean, it literally takes you up to the Renaissance, if I remember.
When he made 6 expansions off of ancient. So
but see, that's what I'm saying, though. You should be able to get. I don't know. I just love it. He's clearly hit on a system that is both gateway, yet depth, which is hard to.
Yeah, it's funny. I said it's like an a la carte.
Yeah.
It's like he's got this set of rules, and I'm going to grab this one, and this one, and this one for the game, and then I'm going to add in this little flavor. Because Tricorn, when it came out, what's so cool about it was the dice have 2 flags for retreat. And if you are forced to retreat, you then add up the number of dice on a formula, you chuck them, and then you have to roll a flag or your guy routes. Because the American Revolution wasn't about attrition. They were low attrition battles, but they were routing all the time. So you have units that just, wow, you know, full strength grenadier, they're rolling 8 dice and I've got a 33% chance with, they ran off the field. It's pretty rare, but it does happen. And you see these units break and you really start positioning your commanders. And it has a whole different flavor from these. I mean, or ancients that I play all the time. And Napoleonics, you know, people really got into, you know, they gripe about, well, ancients, doesn't matter if I have 1 block or 4, I roll 3 dice.
Right.
And he was saying it's about, that's morale, that's not casualties. Well, then in Napoleonic, he started subtracting dice, and people liked it. I didn't because I thought it was too harsh. It went too far the other way. When I got 1 block rolling 1 dice, I'm not wasting 1 of my 3 activations on that dead, begging to hit, you know.
Right.
But what Tricorn did was a lot of units will roll 2 dice base, and if they're at full strength, they get a bonus dice for being in good order. So when you're the Americans, you're sitting there trying to pick those British off just to get 1 casualty on them so they don't get that bonus die when they're coming at you. And then, you know, Grenadiers might get a bonus and all these other stuff. But that was cool that morale is factored with a bonus, and it gives you a bonus when you're checking to see if you're rout. But if you've taken casualties, then you don't, and it was just right.
That's the exact amazing part. And all these do different things in slightly different ways. And that is, it's this scaffolding. It's the Borg Memoir scaffolding is what I like to call it. And then you can sit there and say, well, how would ancients work? Well, how is trench warfare? What if we go into a fantasy element where there's an earth elemental that can come out of the ground, you know, and does all this? And I just love the way he can just go, oh, and then when you play it, you're like, you know, I mean, that's interesting. It works well. Just like you said, it's actually a morale cohesive break rather than they're all dead.
Yeah, Napoleonic's got that cool square thing. Because how you going, well, it's so big. Well, yeah, if you go into a square, I hold my cards out, you draw one, neither one of us look at it, and then it goes down. I put this little marker, square one, square one. I'm playing short-handed for the rest of the game, and as long as you keep your cavalry up there next to them, I'm stuck. But it also really limits what what the cavalry can do. It also limits your ability to fight. So if you can get them held down with cavalry.
You know, trust me, I say that wrong, and I hear about it.
Oh yeah,
it's not the mount.
Yes.
well, it is the mount.
Yeah,
it's not where Christ was crucified. Yes, I know.
But yeah, you bring up an infantry. You bring up an infantry while they're being pinned, and all of a sudden, or if you can bring some artillery up, they're sitting ducks because they're all held in place. And he always manages to tweak these games just so.
Yes.
And I mean, especially after he got to, you know, Battle Cry and Memoir, you were a little more generic, but once he started getting into these type of games, he started really tweaking them to put the little chrome touches that make it really work in a simple game.
Well, my wish would be the Civil War has gotten short shrift because there should be 6 expansions for the Civil War.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I mean, it got stuck.
The 150th anniversary took it from 15 to 30 units. Now, the problem with plastic you always have to consider is plastic molds are expensive.
Sure.
So these games use the blocks because they have so much unit differentiation and
But you know what
Memoir,
I'm
they
saying.
put one infantry, and like if it's a special forces, you just put a tag. We don't need all this extra.
Right.
We don't have fusiliers, grenadiers,
you know what
light
I'm
infantry,
saying?
all this stuff.
There could be the Chickamauga.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you could have the wilderness, and it would just go boom, and you could be like, "This is what we're working in. Here's the Gettysburg."
You know what it probably is also Hasbro owns that, and Hasbro looks
exactly
at it from a whole different standpoint
Right.
as GMT. They don't. Oh, we're going to sell 1,000 copies. No, thank you.
Now, I told you my battle cry is not out of shrink, but I've read the scenarios. I know they have stuff for Gettysburg and things.
Mm-hmm.
So how would they do that, though? Would it be War in the West or something?
I don't know, because they cover.
Right.
They got Wilson's Creek, I believe, in that,
see,
which
there
so
you go.
you're already out in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah, so I don't know what they would do to. So there you go. Even that's covered.
You
So
could
I
just
know
there are
that's
so
in
many
there.
battles. If you really for the uber geek, you could make just tons of expansion stuff. I don't know what you can do for the plastic. You know,
Yeah.
so
So maybe it's covered. Like I said,
it might be some fans need
my
to do
battle
because
cry
if you ever been
is
on
still in shrink.
if you ever been on Ancients, I think it's commandandcolors.net instead of com. It's a fan based site, and it's cool. 'Cause, I mean, if you ever need to know what is a Marian Legion's rule, just go right there. Boom. It's you don't have to dig through things, and all these fan created scenarios. People put their win loss, how the medal counts went.
Gosh, love it.
It's got a real hardcore audience.
So my biggest collection for the system, and again, it's like, I mean, it's alchemy, and he turned cardboard into gold.
Yeah.
There's a quote. All right, the Borg, Richard. HAMTAG Lite.
Yes.
So a couple things before we sign out. One, please let us know in the comments if you like it. There is always going to be an open invitation for Greg if he ever just says, you know what, I wouldn't mind popping into one. I've got an idea for a top 5.
I hope he puts in the comments what his ASL
That would
section
be
is
awesome.
worth at least.
Yeah, maybe he'll throw something in the
Because he made a comment, I have those big buckets full. I mean, those
So
things
Greg,
full of
if
ASL
you
stuff.
see this, throw something in the comments. 2, I do have a Patreon page. Go to Patreon, check out Bonding with Board Games if you want to help out the show. And
list your own big
definitely.
collection.
Put
Even
yours
if you
in.
say I only got 3, throw them in because you'll be it's kind of fun.
It's real cool to see what everybody has. And that's it. HAMTAG Lite.
Yes.
But Greg can come back anytime. Already had people like private messaging. Oh, Greg. Oh, Greg. Somebody even said, who's this Judd guy?
Wow.
I know. I'm like, well, have you seen the show? They're like, I was teasing. And I'm like, yeah.
I thought one of the Eurogamers when we made the Ameritrash, like, I would never play a game with that guy on the left.
He likes dinosaurs.
Yes.
So, oh, wait, sorry, your Rogamer said he wouldn't play with the guy on the left.
I would never, well, when you're looking at it, I'm on the left.
Not my left.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I would never play a game with that guy on the left.
Little do you know that Judd and I will play Werewolf for hours and hours.
No, we won't.
Oh, he loves party games.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that we're on one of your tops. You broke the rules.
You know, I felt bad we did that party game that I forgot to put Nuclear War on there. People are like, Nuclear War? I was like, I play it at parties.
All right. I almost said Scotch at you, Scotch gods. That's that's a Scotch show deal. Game it, you gaming gods. See you guys. Bye.